Yo, 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 it's GMS the PODCAST. My name is B.I., aka Mr. Handle Your B.I., and I'm here with my peoples. You know who they are. Go ahead.
Going on, yo? Some man Nice, aka Fly Nice, don't mention what's going on.
Going for the lollipops. I'm just not another sucker. It's Peazy, live from the whip.
Live from the
Live, live, live,
Live from the
live,
whip.
live, live,
phone up
live.
that gas.
All right, we're going to make this quick. We're going to make this quick since we're behind schedule. But listen, before we start off, I want to give a happy Father's Day, happy King's Day 2020 to all the fathers out there. No females that are single mothers, no disrespect, but no, this is for us guys. If you're a father, you're
As I
handling
said
your
before, even
BI.
even the Virgin Mary didn't get stuck by herself.
You feel me? Like, let us get the day. We don't get the big piece of chicken. Chris Rock said that. All he wanted when we come home is the big piece of chicken. Happy birthday to everyone out there not that has a
I
birthday.
need that breast.
Yes, sir. So happy Father's Day to all those doing what they do. And then that's not just because you're taking care of your child, but you're actually, being a father, setting an example, speaking to them when they need to be spoken. And I'm not talking about just on their birthday saying the good things, but doing the tougher things, disciplining them, and all that other good shit.
Life.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna throw this at Nyce, man, because Nyce said something on social media which I don't really. I play around with, whatever, whatever. But Nyce, you had mentioned, hey, you said, yo, listen, just because I'm not posting a bunch of pics, don't mean I ain't living my life. Speak on that real quick. It's not part of our itinerary tonight, but I'd like you to speak on that because I got plenty of pictures of my babies. I don't post as much of my kids, but
Yeah,
We all do. We all do.
you know,
I just don't. I'm just not into the whole posting all the pics on social media. Me and my kids all the time. I don't know. I live with my kids, man. So I don't. I feel like I
Part of
said,
your daily routine, bro.
yeah, I'm not hating on
That's
people that do it. I'm not hating on
that's
people
your day
that
to
do
day.
it at all. I just don't feel like I need any validation, and I think a lot of people that do it only do it for validation, or they do it to say, "Hey, look at me! I spend time with my kids." Like I don't need to show the world that I already know what I do. I live with my kids.
That's it. That's it.
I just don't feel. And plus, when I'm with my kids, anyways, I'm not even really thinking about social media. I don't. It doesn't even cross my mind to be like, let me take this picture so I could put it on social media. I don't know. I'm just really not like that, bro. I'm really not
Mm-hmm.
like that often, bro. I don't post like a lot of pictures like that. That's not even when I'm out. I'm just not one of those. Let me put this on to the picture for social media. That's just not me. I definitely don't do it.
sounds like you just living to me, brother. Just living a life. You feel
Yeah,
me?
word. I'm just yeah. That's it.
You ain't doing it for likes. I like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. And you know, Father's Day is one of the things where when you with your kids all the time, it's like Father's Day for me is like, let me get my day. That's
Yeah.
my day.
Word.
You know, a lot of dudes that don't live with their kids,
Mm-hmm.
that's not with their kids all the time, and not to say that it's their fault, but just maybe the other parent might have custody of the kid.
Right.
You with your kid all the time. Like, yeah, I want to spend time with my kids on Father's Day, but I'm cool with having the day to myself too, yo.
You want that quiet time, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Father's Day and letting pops have his day to himself and have his own peace
Yeah.
and shit like that throughout my day. You know, I'm cool with that too.
Father's Day, aka leave me the fuck alone day.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna
word.
say that,
I was telling
Peasy.
somebody that the other day, bro.
When
I
is it
tell somebody
okay?
that
When is that okay to just just leave me the fuck alone real quick, okay?
no,
When's that
because
okay?
listen, in all
Father's
actuality,
Day that day.
when you
Father's Day that.
when you with your kids, bro, when you live with your kids too. I mean, even if you don't, but when you with your kids, you live with your kids. Father's Day is every fucking day. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Word.
It's Father's Day is every day, bro. I'm not father one day out the year. Father's Day is every day for me, bro. So, like Peasy said, I really looked at Father's Day like, give me my fucking space, man. I need my.
Yeah.
I hear
No,
you.
but
All
I
right,
just
man.
put that
So
up. It wasn't to knock anybody that does do it because one of my friends did put a comment up there and he was just like, "Yo, I have a lot of family members on his page,
mm-hmm.
and that's his way of sharing
Sharon.
his kids with his family and stuff like that." So I get it. That's why I told people like I'm not knocking nobody. If that's what people.
Truth be told, that's why I do it because I got a lot of aunts and shit that live out of state. They don't get to see my kids at all. So,
Yeah.
especially my mother. You know what I mean? My mother gets a lot of pictures from Facebook. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Nah, that's
you know what I
cool,
mean?
man. And you know what? It's good that you mentioned that because, we all share things differently. You know what I mean? And I know people are like, "Oh, Cliff, you're a photographer. How come you're not busting photos?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got plenty of photos. That they're in my vault. Like if y'all come to the crib, you'll see I got like two, those electronic picture frames, and they just keep cycling. They just cycle.
Cycling, yeah.
I got my mother one because she's not, technically savvy. She don't know none of that shit, but she loves her big picture frame that's electronic. She gets to see that. She's not on Facebook or none of that. Even though now she's on her YouTube, she's watching the country Haiti, seeing that go into. That's another story, but you know what I mean. I respect how everybody moves, but I think Nyce kind of hit us some with what you just said. People gotta stop thinking they're talking about them. Hopefully he didn't come at you like that. Hopefully it was just more like, hey, I do it like this, which is a good conversation for people to know. But typically, I notice people feel like a comment is specific for them. You know what I mean? And if it is, well, shit, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Nah, it wasn't my thing. I wasn't even thinking about anybody like that. I just personally don't do it. So I just that was my post. Like I live with my kids, bro, and I don't post my kids 24/7. I just don't need to do it. I don't feel like I need to do it. I don't need that validation. I don't even look to Facebook for a source of validation for really anything.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to do it for my kids and or anything like that. Like I don't know. It's just me. It ain't, like I said, I don't knock nobody else that do it. But like you said, some people might think I'm talking about them. I wasn't talking about anybody. I was talking about me. That's what people get it confused. You be talking about yourself and what you do, and people think it'd be a shot at what they do.
Yeah, man.
You'd be like, I'm not even talking about it. But nah, my man, Murph that left that comment, he knows I wasn't talking about him. He knows I wasn't talking.
Well,
but unfortunately, there do be people like that though.
I think it's
that's your page though, bro. Your page is like for the debaters, man.
Yo, my page be crazy sometimes. One day they love me, one day they hate me.
Mm-hmm.
One day they love me. But I be consistent like a motherfucker.
Yeah, you do. You hold your shit.
I be consistent like a motherfucker.
Hold your shit. But like as far as Father's Day, man, I said it before. Like, don't give me credit for the shit I'm supposed to do. I'm a dad, man.
Word.
All I asked for was a little appreciation that day. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but crazy. I like the acknowledgement. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like the acknowledgement. I like to be acknowledged. That's cool. But like you said, it's one of them things where when you doing the dad thing for real, bro. I mean, you know what it is. I don't gotta go above and beyond and do nothing. that's my responsibility anyway, man.
Right.
I don't need a cookie for that shit. It's like you ever heard the conversation or people, oh, I do this for my kids. I buy my kids this. I get my kids this. I do that. I do this. It's like they saying it like
okay.
You're supposed to reward them for that. Right.
They're saying it as if they're not supposed to be doing that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of scary
like, yo,
that people think that way.
You're supposed to do that.
It's kind of scary that people think that way, man.
It's sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's sad. Wow.
But you know what? It'd be kind of a fun case study to follow up on those people and their kids, just to see how they develop. You know what I mean? Because I truly believe that all the people, all the people of the world are developed based on their experience with mother, fathers, uncle, brothers, and just people in society as a general. And if you're constantly saying that to us, I wonder what you're saying to the kid. Like, damn, what you want, dog? Are you already ate? Just trying to get a hug, Dad. I was just trying to get a hug. You know what I'm saying?
But nah, man, you really got to be on top of that shit. You can't just, I don't know. It's just weird. I've seen people do that shit, and before I was just sitting back saying, damn, you want a cookie? You want a reward? What do you want for taking care of your kids? This isn't an option here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What is
you really
it
don't
that
have
you
an
want? Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is you're just creating not a monster, but you're creating somebody that's going to reproduce and kind of just pass on what they just learned, because it's all learned behaviors. What you got over there, P? Show the people, man. I'm gonna put you on. What you got?
My girl dad's shirt, man.
Okay.
No, go ahead, man. I'm just
This is good. We want to see that, man. You know what I mean? I got my Lowe's card, because they know that's all I do is y'all can see this fucked up place behind me. They were like, hey, Dad. Which in a way, I was like, wait a minute. This is a great gift, but y'all are kind of getting some shit out of this shit, too. I'm like, So I don't know how I should feel about that gift. What y'all think? I got a gift card from Lowe's. It's dope. I'm appreciative of that.
So see, that's the cliche thing about Father's Day. They always say that. On Mother's Day, the ladies get flowers, a nice dinner, a necklace, shoes, a dress, maybe. Then on Father's Day, we get power tools, and gift certificates to Lowe's, so you can just come back home and fix some shit. You know what I'm saying?
So I guess you're telling me I got to get this shit fixed already.
Pretty much. And it sounds the way of it. Whoever gave you the gift card is trying to tell your ass to
In a nice way.
help you step up.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, in a nice way.
Get your shit together.
They try to light the fire into your ass a little bit, bro.
Oh, do we have to say pause? Do you got to say pause for that, Peazy?
Yeah, pause.
Just fucking with you, man.
They've presented the clip like, I know you've been saying that you don't like doing a podcast with the background looking like that, so here's a paint.
Fix that shit.
Here's a paint and some paint.
Oh man! All right, so you know what? By next podcast, I have something. I'm gonna put this up there. It's perfect segue. Boom, is a goal. My goal is next podcast. The shit that you see behind me will be completely finito, all done. Nice. But the real reason that I have goal up there is, fortunately and unfortunately, we have to still have a discussion, which I think it would be irresponsible of us if we didn't, about Black Lives Matter and everything else that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But one question I've always have, and I've been looking, trying to read, trying to do some research, because this is what we do here in our podcast, is we do research. My question is, what is the ultimate singular goal that BLM has? Or do they even have that? And that's just more of an open-ended question for y'all. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? We all know we're trying to fight for civil rights. You know what I mean, for black men and women, and minorities in general. But then I think when you start peeling the skin, there's more to it. And unfortunately, as we all know, as humans, our attention span doesn't last too long. I just don't want to see this great wave, this progress that we're doing, that we're seeing, get pushed to the side because there's going to be so many different agendas and goals. If y'all go back and people that are watching the podcast, and I'll put it up there again, it's just singular goal, one, not goals. I know what I want. You know, treat us just as humans. That's a pretty dope goal for me. You know what I mean? Equal opportunities, civil rights. That's a goal. Equality. Boom. That empowers us to take away systemic racism and stuff. But now I just said a key word: systemic racism. Then it's gonna say, then the police, then there's this, then there's that. So do or does BLM have a singular goal? I'm gonna put Peazy first since he's lighting.
Since I'm what?
Just go ahead, bro.
Yo, I really don't know. I never heard them state a particular goal they have in mind. You know what I'm saying? So when I donated money to the Until Freedom movement because they actually put money back into the community.
Okay.
And they apply programs to the schools and educate, and they actually go in there and consult with law enforcement and shit like that. I know where their money's going. But BLM, I really don't know where their money's going. I never heard anything. I never read anything. So I'm lost when it comes to them, truthfully.
What you think,
but
because Peazy's lost.
Nyce probably has way more information.
Nah, I'm not really.
He look like he's reading. You don't want to touch on that subject?
You might be doing the research.
I don't really know exactly what their overall goal is. I would say equality, reform, things like that, man. It's just bringing awareness to certain issues that minorities face, things like that. I'm cool with that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, but the main issue is like reform. So that's basically like police and community relations. So I don't know if they're doing that, going like they need to set up some sort of meeting, man. I heard I was listening to some podcast and they said they need to fire all the cops they got now and hire people from the communities, man, just because they feel it'd be.
We've already, I mean, brother, this notion that we need people that resemble other people in the community, and that will make things.
They ain't got it's familiarity though. I don't think resemble is the word.
Hold on, I'm not. Let me finish what I was saying though, because is this notion that have we just put people in the policing the communities of the people that they're policing? We need to make the police resemble the people of the community, right? That's the notion. It would be better, right? But we've done that. And unfortunately, it doesn't really seem to be things have gotten better. You know, they've done studies and they've shown that in those communities where, you know, there's people that resemble the people in their communities, they found that the officers, whether black or Hispanic, are more likely to shoot and kill the people of that community, specifically black people. So it didn't do an amazing change like people thought it was going to do, bro. I think we just need better fucking training, regardless of the color of the skin of the person in the community. I think that being a part of the community can help, but it's just so much more than that, dog. It's more than that, bro. There's clearly a problem within police culture.
And that's kind of like my point. So look at this, us three guys here, and I did some research, and I could not find, again, one singular goal that they want to that's on the agenda. And I think that is going to do a disservice for them because, as we all know, at the end of the day, everyone has their own agenda. We might all start off on the same level. Let me use GMS as an example. We all have one particular goal, which is GMS. Let's get this shit popping. But then you got Peazy in the streets. You got Nyce Knowledge. Then you got Cliff Notes Project. We all come together, one goal. But at the end of the day, one person might just do something a little extra. One person might just fall back a little bit. We're no longer on the same plane. Still vibing for GMS as a whole. But the idea is that we're all individuals and we obviously want to grow. Black Lives Matter. There's going to be transgenders in there. There's going to be black officers that are going to say, hey, we have our own agenda too. Then there's just going to be so many different subdividing groups within that BLM that I think if they don't come out with one singular goal, it's going to derail this whole thing. Not to say, oh, everyone's going to forget and move, but I think just right now, this is something pretty special. I think they're going to have to talk about it, and Nyce was talking about it earlier, in the history books. Like, we're going to have to really look back and just say, wow, this really happened. You know, 2019, 2020, look at when change started to take place. I truly feel that. And I get that feeling because I watch videos. I see peoples of all color and races coming together, and they're like, yo, what we seen just now was messed up. And now let me segue to what we just seen, because I think what really ignited the fire was George Floyd. You know what I mean? And I'm going to put this up here so people can see. And that's 8 minutes and 46 seconds. A lot of people have watched the video over and over. I've watched it twice. I told myself I'm good. I don't need to see it no more. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, I think, really put BLM on the map so that people understood what was going on, quote unquote, for a black man. Now, Nyce and we kind of talked about this earlier, P, and I'm not going to really go there because I think it would be better to have this conversation at a live forum to get people also involved.
Right.
But I think this gentleman, this cop here, they don't necessarily have enough evidence to say that there was racial motivation in killing him. I think he was just a piece of shit that was pushing it to the extremes, trying to prove a point to the cameras, like, fuck you, I'm a cop, I run shit, you can't tell me what to do. He fucked up because that guy died. Fortunately and unfortunately, and please forgive, I want people out there to forgive me for what I'm about to say, I think race is playing a huge role right now where it's aiding what we're going to be dealing with, which is this now.
I think that's why they put the word systematic in front of it, isn't it?
Nyce, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself. Here we go.
Yeah. I just want to clarify what you were saying so nobody takes it out of context. Yet you're saying at the current moment so far, there's nothing that has there's no evidence that has come to surface yet that would suggest that this was racially motivated just yet.
Perfect.
That's what you're saying.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes.
I want people to try to take what you said out
And
of
run with it.
context and
I
look,
appreciate that.
oh, you say like nah, because we're saying tomorrow there could be a video of Derek Chauvin using the N word, and then we would know, okay, he's a racist. You know,
Correct.
that could lead to it could be very reasonable now to believe that he did this to George Floyd because he was black, right?
Right.
But as of right now, if we're being honest, right now there's no evidence to suggest that he did it simply because he was black. Really no. There's also there's no evidence to even suggest that he actually intended to actually murder him. It was more of like a I don't think he gave a fuck if he lived or died.
Right.
It was one of those like, hey, I probably had my knee on 100 people's neck before and they didn't die, but honestly, I really don't give a fuck if this dude dies or not, which is more of like a gross example of negligence
Right.
and things like that. You feel me? So that's going to be a problem. And I think a lot of people are going to be upset because that intent is going to be hard to prove in this until, as of right now.
Right.
There could be other things that come out. Like we said, there could be more evidence to come out. But as of right now, that's what I like. Flip with you. I think you're right with that. Right now, we don't know for 100% if it was racially motivated, and we don't know for 100% if he actually intended to kill him, because you have to keep in mind he was being recorded, bro, and he knew that was going to go on the internet and
Correct.
everything like that. So it was like, was he really trying to fucking really kill this dude, or did he just not really give a fuck to the extent where it was saying, look, I'm a cop, I don't really give a fuck? Probably because most cops don't get in trouble anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that
and that's right there though, because he didn't give a fuck, and that's why that man died, because he didn't kill that.
Right. But was it to say like, let's say like, if you say you take the race out of it, it's just like he didn't give a fuck if that dude died. Who's to say he wouldn't have treated anybody else like that if he's just a piece of shit?
Correct.
He could just be a piece of shit. He could have treated anybody like that. It just so happened to be that George Floyd was black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we just don't know at the current moment if it was racially motivated. We just don't know that yet.
Patterns, though, that's why they say systematic racism, right? Because it seems like it's a certain pattern of shit happening. So you automatically got to put it in that category. When they pull a black man over, they treat him a little bit more differently, supposedly, allegedly, as they show through media in time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And these incidents happen. So people say that. People say systematic.
Yeah, I know why people are saying.
It's not blatant. It's like not in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the intended motive of the whole situation. But who knows, Nyce? Now, if George Floyd was the lighter skin color, white, and in the same video occurred, it might have been handled in a whole nother different way.
Mm-hmm.
Who we to say it would be, or to say it would. You know what I mean?
Well, we already know that there's a similar example of a white man that was suffocated to death by the hands of.
Yeah.
Although I don't think that it was in that video, as I discussed with Cliff. I don't even think the cops truly intended to kill him. I watched the video. Right. I really don't think the cops meant to do that shit. Now I can't say the same for Derek Chauvin, bro. Like, he just seems to really be a fucking cold-hearted piece of shit. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you've seen it. They got a picture of him with like a MAGA hat. You ever seen that picture?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Like right after the shit happened, they were popping up on the internet.
Right. I mean, I'm not, but I know people that support Trump.
That's what I was going to say. We got to be careful with that.
I'm trying to say, they try to tie that hat.
Back to racism.
Yeah. But that's not.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong. There's plenty of racists that identify with that. So
100%.
Right.
100%.
And I get why people would try to make that correlation, bro. I get that.
Right.
And that's that's a perfect segue to the next topic, which is, it's not really the next topic, but is in line with what we're talking about, which is racism. So again, I did a little when I was hanging out, looking at, Facebook. I think it was Facebook. And I had told y'all before, I have some friends, you know what I mean. I have all races, but this particular guy kind of threw me off. I always knew he had like a tone, a little touch of racism in him. But again, I felt like because of his age, his time, of how he is, I was like, he's never said anything blatant to me. He's always protected me, real good guy, whatever. I actually consider him a friend. But this weekend, I had to revisit that. And the reason I had to revisit that, there was a post on his Facebook where people were like, oh, God, they're taking statues. This is going on. Why is this happening? Blah, blah, blah. And I was saying to myself, let's see when he's going to come in. And then he chimes in with an LOL. I don't give the LOL as much strength as I think people like to give it, because I think that's just more of like a reactionary thing, like a haha, you know what I mean? Some people legit, you'll text something to them and they'll text you back LOL. It's like, what the fuck? It was a wasted text. But then I kept watching. So as I'm watching, I'm seeing people now, the racists are kind of coming out, because I think there was a feel like it's okay to be here and voice my opinion on this little thread. I'm watching. I'm seeing Uncle Ben. I'm seeing it was the Quaker Oak man with the Aunt Jemima, and they saying, why can't we all just get along? And they were in bed together. I thought shit was kind of funny. I ain't gonna front. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, oh, here it goes. And nothing. He said nothing, just the LOL. So at that point in time, I had to say, okay, you're one of those that are okay with the occasional racial joke, because you'll say,
Right.
you know, I'm not that racist. Like, I talk shit about everyone, which he does, right?
Right.
So then I had to go back.
Race jokes are funny, though.
What's that?
So race jokes are funny, though.
Some are. You know what I mean?
Some are, but yo, you can't
like right
this,
now. Probably
right
not the
now,
time to pull the jokes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because the temperature. Everybody's temperature's real.
I mean,
hot, right?
and I'm not one to ever try to tell a person that does comedy or anything like that to just like, let's chill out or anything like that. You know, you're taking away from a creative and being a creative, but this was not. This is just like, all right, let's go. Let's get in. So I'm seeing this shit. So now I say to myself, all right, hold on. So I got some Italian friends, and I have to say, back in the day, I'm sure you guys heard of the word muli. You know what I mean? In movies, we've all watched
Mulan.
muli. You know what I'm saying? You speak to Spanish people, you hear mayate. You know what I'm saying? That's again against blacks, and I'm like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously there's the N bomb with the ER, not the double GA. You know what I mean? Which I've said to myself, I'm trying to reduce. So we'll keep it going like that, because y'all understand where I'm coming
Never
from.
ignorant, getting goals accomplished.
What's that?
Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished.
Amen. But listen to this. My question is this, because I know y'all seen the video. I shared it to y'all on Instagram with the lady saying, go back where you came from, and then just dropped all racial slurs. Like, she had a good bag. I'm talking about she dropped everything. And all I'm saying was like, wait a minute. I'm assuming. And I said, when are you going back?
Right.
America doesn't belong to anyone but the Native Americans.
Right.
And I don't know why people are forgetting that. Italians tend to forget. The Irish forget. And the Jews. That shit boggles my mind. If you're any of these people and you got like a racist, like a real racist bone, you're either A, uneducated, or just a very young, I don't know. I'm not going to call you a piece of shit yet, because I don't really know you. But I feel like if your parents came from Italy, they were shitted on just like blacks were. The Anglo-Saxons were like, go back. The Irish too, exactly. But when the fuck did the Irish become fucking super racist? Because then I met this guy, he's Irish, and he was super racist. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Do you not know your history? And that's the shit that boggles my mind. So, with that being said, and I told Nyce, I think these people have a disease. I think racist people have some sort of a disease. It can't be stupidity.
There is like there is like a
mental health issue. Is that what you're saying, BR?
I feel like just being like that. Nah, I feel like
but there's like a biological, psychological type of science behind that shit, bro. Like, it's like that in-group, out-group shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are. That's kind of like it goes back.
So it's hereditary.
it goes back to tribalism, bro. Like when your tribes only cared about their people, bro, they ain't give a fuck about nobody else, and they were actually hostile to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of like your biological makeup. But then as we evolved, right, we
Mm-hmm.
started to have what we call morals and values and things like that,
Right, right.
right? Which we know are supposed to overpower some of the natural processes inside of us. Like you can, I use like you look at a woman, right, and you're like, damn, she's bad as fuck. I would love to have my way with her,
Right.
right? But I'm not going to do what a caveman would do and hit her over the head
Right.
and drag her somewhere and fuck her.
Right.
Even though you would be like, I would enjoy having sex with that woman. I know I would.
Right.
Every part of her looks joyful, right? But then your morals
Right. Kick
and your
in.
values and ethics come into play, and you know you can't do that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where the same thing comes into play with like racism, bro. Like
Right.
you may not realize why you're kind of hostile towards somebody that doesn't look like you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not prone to really care about somebody that looks like you because they're not part of your tribe,
Right.
right? But you need to understand that it's not right to be like that, dog.
Right.
Like you can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like that. And people that choose to be like that is just you have to ask where their moral compass is at, bro. You
So,
have to question shit.
so how do you feel about calling it a fucking disease? Because obviously something's not kicking in. You know.
I wouldn't. I mean, I get what you're saying. I just wouldn't refer to it as a disease because diseases can be like eradicated. Polio was a disease. It can be eradicated.
Not
Racism,
all diseases yet.
not all. Like Corona's still there.
Yeah. But that's a
But
virus.
there's HIV. Yeah, well, HIV, a couple other, viruses, diseases floating around. But what I'm saying is that it can't really. I don't think we can approach it like that because it just won't be eradicated that way. You know what I'm saying?
But I want to
It's
challenge
just
you
like
by saying that it can be eradicated by giving people, empowering people with knowledge. I think the majority of the people that are just racist pricks, right, tend to just be just ignorant. Their upbringing. You're not born a racist. You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
You're not born a
True.
racist.
You're
And
born
I'm gonna play a nice little footage for y'all. I'm gonna just play a little footage for y'all. So for people on Facebook, I want them to take a look at it. I thought this was pretty cool. You know what I mean? So I know y'all are watching this. So we got this young little boy. He's on the beach, and he's looking at some booties, some chocolate booties.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's
Yes,
appreciative.
Yeah.
He's extremely appreciative of this, and I'll share this to you, Nyce, so you can pull it up too. Like
That's the day little Timmy became a man, yo. I seen that video earlier.
little Timmy just sat there in awe, like wow. Like it wasn't just a quick glance. Nyce, I want you to grab your cell phone and take a look at this video. It's that important.
Yeah, that's a memory. That's a memory that's gonna be imprinted in his little mind for the rest of his life.
Man. And I'm
yeah.
and I'm loving that happened. That's like a little Nyce out there. A little Nyce is out there, just like
yeah.
I was
Little
always
Nyce.
like that.
Was that?
I was always like that.
See? So that was you. You know how they say the alternate universes and shit? This was you.
Right.
Like, so if he doesn't care about the color, but he was like, there's just something right about this little small, like, but voluminous bump sitting on the sand or laying on the sand. I'm sorry.
Right.
Racism, I'm sorry. That shit is taught. That shit is taught.
It's definitely learned behavior, bro. It's definitely learned behavior.
Like, come on. Let's get rid of that shit.
Behavior.
Half of these people are gonna die anyway. Half of these fucking idiots are gonna be dead anyway and gone. But the problem is that we're allowing that their generation that's behind them to continue and push that rhetoric. And when you have somebody at the forefront, and I don't want to go get political, but when the main man is not making good decisions and not saying good things, it refuels the fire. You know how like shit was going out.
I was about to say that.
Like AIDS was supposed to, HIV was supposed to go away with education, and I'm taking this from doctors education, condoms, protection. It's supposed to go away, but it didn't because ignorance kicked in. People were like, fuck it, I'm going to dive in and take a chance. You know what I mean? It kept spreading this shit. But racism is the same way. That's why I'm going to call it a fucking disease. I think we can eradicate this shit. And I think there's more of us than there are of them. But I think here's the big problem. And I want to know if you guys participate in this. If there's someone else like, man, shut the fuck up, you blah, 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 blah. Would you allow him or her an opportunity and forgive them to come back into society? Like, I think any of these piece of shit cops, whatever, you might have ruined yourself as a cop. You can go work at Walmart, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to come back into society as long as you reform and understand that there's no room for racism in the world. It just don't make no sense. You got to give them the other cheek. I know, Nyce, you don't want me to speak, the word of Jesus, my Lord and Savior.
But I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying. I agree with that, though. You gotta kind of, you can't fight hate with hate type shit.
Right.
You gotta be the bigger man.
Mm-hmm.
Or a woman.
You can't. Or a woman, yeah. You can't fight fire with fire all the time.
Or a mix.
Just create a bigger fire. So yeah, I get what you're saying, and I also get that we gotta chill out with this cancel culture shit, man.
100%.
People are
too quick to jump the gun, man. They just
not even jump the gun, just too quick to act like if you're willing to cancel somebody forever, right? Then you better never make a fucking mistake in your life.
You're damn right.
Yeah, for real.
You better never make a mistake in your life because
you better be perfect.
Right, you better be perfect, bro.
We all live in glass houses, man.
You better not say nothing inappropriate. You better not do nothing, just anything wrong. Okay? So if that's the route we want to go down, then fine. But you better make sure that you walk a straight line, bro. And the problem
not
is,
even a parking ticket.
None of us could do that.
Like let's like, and I think this mistake tends to happen with minorities. And I right now there's a picture that you guys should be seeing. I think like I've been having conversations with friends of mine, and I'm just like, yo, I see how you're angry. I'm angry too, but you have to allow an open door policy to allow people to, one, say what they really feel. If you're not going to allow somebody that has, again, I don't care, I told y'all the story, these racist feelings or thoughts, allow them to just say them and then allow them to explain it, but hopefully they're receptive of saying why. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know if you noticed, most racists, they just spitting bullshit. Like, man, the fucking world is flat, and your niggas are supposed to just keep walking and fall off the earth. What?
Right. Right.
What?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Did you read a book?
There's definitely no base behind what they're saying. Definitely not.
Like, read a book, you uneducated motherfucker. But it's hate, but it has to be more. Like, I hate a lot of shit, but like, damn.
Like I agree with you. I feel like it's got to be something else, bro. Like, it's really got to be something else with these people. Because when you hear them speak, bro, they come off as some of the dumbest fucking people you've ever heard in your life.
That's what I'm saying.
Shit. It's just retarded.
That's just crazy.
They really do come off as, they're not even they come off, they are literally the dumbest fucking people you've ever met in your life.
Word.
Or you've seen. I may not meet them, but I see videos, and I'll really be baffled at the dumb shit that'll come out of their mouth. They will really say some shit that makes no sense.
None.
For real.
So I said there's no base behind what they're saying. There's nothing.
No.
You would know. You should know. Nyce never found like history on racism and where it stemmed from.
Nah, I mean in America, I know that you had the Declaration. I mean the Constitution, right, which stated all men are created equal. But then you had people who in America were not always in favor of slavery. They thought it was an unethical, immoral, disgusting practice. So you had people questioning the Constitution, saying, well, how are all men created equal?
Mm-hmm.
But yet, look at over here. These people, clearly, they're not being created equal, right? Then what you had was the law created saying, well, black people aren't technically 100% human, they're what? Three-fifths
Right.
of a human. So now that justifies all humans are created equal. They're not 100% human. And then the race psychology came in that they're not 100% human. Since we're naturally superior to them. They're inferior because us as humans are superior to animals. They're treated more like animals than they are humans. And now you have what's called racism. There you go. It's not really that. I mean, in America, I don't know about outside of America, but that's pretty logical to look at in America. And then what did they do? They created a system because they were in a position of power.
Yep.
When you're in a position of power, you can create a system to go along with your beliefs, right? Your ideological beliefs. And then you created what is called white supremacy. And they created the system that would enforce that and would benefit them and oppress other people and things of that nature. I mean, that's just what happened.
And then to maintain it, the Anglo-Saxon came over here.
To maintain, right.
Christopher Columbus and his peoples came in. They almost died. The Indians, like Native Americans, says, let's help you. Let me teach you how to farm. That's another thing. If you guys, let me keep you alive, help you guys out. Okay. And they're like, we're going to take advantage of these assholes since they fucking willing at things. We'll take over this country. Thank you so much. You guys have that. And that's, again, I have to go back to ask the question to the non-Anglo-Saxons. If you are Italian, Jewish, Irish, or any other race, how the fuck are you racist when you went through the same shit? And that's why I have to say it's because you don't know your history. You're a fool.
Right. It's a lack of education. It really is. Yeah. I actually was speaking with somebody today who's my man. He's a good dude on Facebook. Him and I, we always we always disagree on a lot of things, but then we'll agree on things, but we disagree. Like it's a lot of people, when you speak of injustices in America, you only really hear of injustices basically toward black people. When you think of slavery, you think it's in America, it's only unique, obviously, to black people in America, because they were really the only ones that were slaves. But if you're not really educated, you would think that slavery in America was worse than anywhere else. That's what you would think, because that's what you're being pretty much told.
Correct.
But when you actually research, you'll find that, well, at least I did. I read a book by Dr. Thomas Sowell called Black Rednecks and White Liberals. And it wasn't just about slavery, but he had a good portion of the book that was dedicated to like the real history of slavery as a worldwide institution. And he pointed out how slavery was absolutely just gruesome all across the world, bro. The only reason why it's more publicized in America is because in America, it was not accepted as a moral way of life by everybody here. So there were a lot of people that were actually writing down the terrible shit that was going on.
Right.
Around the world, it was more accepted as just a way of life. This is just slavery. This is just what it is. It's a worldwide institution. There's nothing morally wrong with it. It's not unethical. Things of that.
Like the Romans.
Right. But there is, if you want to research out there, as Dr. Thomas Sowell did, you can find the evidence to show that, it was actually horrible for slaves everywhere, bro. This notion that it was only bad in America and nothing was like it in America is not true. It's not true, at least according to what I've read with Dr. Thomas Sowell and the things that he's shown to be in his book that were facts, that he's, through his research and things of that nature, history. And then I was like, wow, I was surprised to hear that shit. Like, there were things I didn't even know about, bro, that he pointed out. Like, do you know that there were black slave owners in America? Not, I heard this.
Yes.
Oh, no, but they only owned their family members, so nobody else could. No. He's like, no, there were black slave owners in America that had commercial slaves and that were literally fighting with the Confederate Army to actually keep slavery. I was like, what the fuck? I never knew that.
Bro,
I never knew that.
You got
But I don't mean to bring that up to like, oh, black people. No, I'm just saying, like,
no, that's a reality.
that you wouldn't know. You just wouldn't know anything like that if you don't research. You know what I'm saying? And when I found that shit out, I was like, whoa, yo, I was shocked. I was shocked because also, like y'all probably, I'm only really made aware of like slavery in America, bro. And I was always led to believe that it was uniquely just a horrible practice in America, worse than anywhere else in the
You
world.
need to talk to the people in Africa.
I
Shit.
know, no, I'm saying I know now. I know now after reading Dr.
Right.
Thomas Sowell's book that it clearly is not like that, dog. It's really not. And but that's all I really wanted to say. Is like you said, it is a lack of education. Some people don't even know their own history, bro.
And
They don't
that's
even
scary.
know their own history.
And
You know,
that's
and it's like,
and that's the scary part. And I think we or people should have interest in that. But a lot of people don't really care to have interest. People are interested in only in the now without having the facts. Because I don't have a percentage. There's no case study or anything. But I'd say at least 80% of the people in this world are headliners. Like they read the headlines and they run with it. They're like that. Hey, I read. They're clear to say. I read on Facebook. I da 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 da. Or I heard. I think that is such a line, and it makes me sick. Like I'm sick of it. And this is why I'm asking. I'm gonna put this up, man. I'm gonna put this up. I know this is gonna hurt y'all, but I'm gonna put it up. This is a Cliff Notes project for y'all and for anybody watching. I want people to do this for at least try for 2 days. Wean off. Take a break from social media. Leave that phone the fuck alone. Only use the phone when you're making a call, checking in with your girl, your wife, babies, your kids, or whatever, paying a bill online, but leave it alone. Maybe listen to a podcast. Well, that's nighttime activities. That's okay. We'll let that slide. It's not really social media, but the Facebook, the Instagrams. Like, I want everyone to leave it alone. Like, let's do 24 hours. Tell me how you feel. I know, Nyce, you came back. You just got home from Facebook jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You said it was a change.
He was allowed to scroll and read. He just couldn't post nothing.
But it's still a jail. Because you know why? Yeah. It removed his ability to voice his opinion. Yeah. And I'm telling, this is what I beg people. Like I had a few people here for Father's Day. And I told them, I said, listen, I think the worst place that people can have conversations about things like this is Facebook. Because you have to type it. You can't feel tone. You can't jump and say, no, that's not what I meant. No, I take that back. Right. It's all just words. You know what I mean? Some people are better at describing certain feelings or explaining their thoughts, whereas others are just, LOLing, WTFs. You know what I'm saying? I think if people want to have conversations like we are now, I think this is a great forum. I think people should really utilize Zoom and have a moderator and allow people certain periods of time to just express themselves. Because if you really think you're going to figure, or break racism down by using Facebook or doing this, man, that's the problem. And with everything, technology, I think, is part of the issue, But technology, again, has allowed us to see how has allowed the world to see what's going on in fucking America or what's going on over in Egypt or what's going on in South Africa.
I would actually argue, Cliff, that spending too much time on Facebook and not researching as well can actually really distort your perception of reality.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that they did do a poll recently from what I heard, and they asked people that spent a lot of time on social media how they felt about race relations. And the people that spent a lot of time said they thought race relations were bad. Then they asked the same question to people that said that they literally spend no time on social media, and they all said the complete opposite.
Of course.
So I feel like social media or media in general, right? The media in general, you got to be careful with that if you're not willing to research, because it can definitely, it plays a major role on your perception of what's going on in the real world right now.
Right.
So we know that the news in itself is clearly, there's a media bias there. We know that. Just like when we were talking earlier, right? When Cliff and I said, did you hear about that kid? What's his name, Cliff? The kid in the hotel.
Oh, with the girl. I can't remember. The one that,
But anyway,
the one that got killed with
yeah,
the
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. Peazy said, "Yo, I didn't even hear about that."
Mm-hmm.
That's and it's like that's because of media bias. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was a little coverage on it, but it wasn't like worldwide
Right.
news. You feel me?
That should have
So
been.
it's like you have to be careful, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always tell people, yo, I'm on social media a lot, but I do a lot of research, and I'll see something on social media that'll motivate me to go research some shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I'll see if it's factual or not. A lot of people don't do that.
If you listen to the news or you read the news and you question it, you should research it. You should try it.
A lot of people, unfortunately, they don't seem to do that. They just see something and they run with it, or they'll see a few videos of something and they'll think that's what that's basically a direct reflection of what's actually going on in the real world or reality. And it's like, yo, bro, a few videos is not the whole picture.
Right.
That's not the whole picture, bro. This is why you have to research. This is why it's important to research. And I've got into those little discussions with people in debates where it's people that clearly they get all their information from social media, and you know how that debate's gonna go.
Yep.
You could present them with you could present them with all the statistics in the world or all the data in the world, and it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter because their perception has already been affected by what they see on social media. So you can't tell them nothing different. Every time they open social media, they see a video of this and another reoccurring video of this and another reoccurring. So that's all they're seeing, bro.
Then
you can't tell them nothing else.
Right.
You can't tell them nothing else. And this is why it's important. I always stress that to people. Yo, research data. Like we were saying earlier, Cliff, like, dude, pick up a book, dog.
Yeah.
Pick up a book.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Google what you just read. Google what you read and see other sources.
Dog. Yeah, bro. I see
other headlines, right? That's what I do.
I seen people sharing a quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally sharing this quote by Hitler, basically saying black people were the real gift of God or something. This dude was extremely racist, bro. He has nothing good to say about black people. Nothing. What would make you think he said that, dog? Right. I'm like, what would make you think he said that? So I researched it because I'm like, that just doesn't even make sense to me, dog. Mm-hmm. This dude was so racist, bro. He wanted the world to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed. He thought that was the dominant race. He even misunderstood what evolution was and tried to make it out like, dog, he did not believe anything good besides blonde hair and blue eyes. He thought that was the superior race, the dominant race. He had nothing good to say about anybody else. To think that he would even say anything good about anybody other than that just didn't make sense to me. Yeah. So I researched it, and of course it was false. It was false. And it was like, yo, the amount of people I seen sharing that quote.
Shit. Yeah.
Like, and they were literally like, even Hitler knows we special. I was like, no, not Hitler. We can't. God. Come on, dog. Come on. See, we talk about Hitler, bro. Come on.
And
and it's just so sad because all it took was 2 seconds, bro. I literally Googled the quote, and it immediately came up. This is false. He never said it at all. Bro, never said it.
The problem
and I was like, wow,
it's a microwave. This microwave generation. People want it quick. They want it quick, man. This is why Jeff Bezos is a genius. He was winning. He was like, oh, you know what I mean? Don't worry, I'll stash everything. I'll get it to you in 2 days. Boom, 1 day, boom. And we want it. We want it faster, faster, faster. Remember a couple of years ago when 3G came out? It was the illest thing in the world. Now we can't wait till 5G. Like, shit is slow. You know what I mean? We just always want more. And I think that in itself is allowing individuals like a Trump to sneak in because he's loud and rambunctious and will say obnoxious shit and we'll run with it. And obviously there's the power of money and getting advertisement and everything else and the machine that just keeps hitting you over the head and you're like, man, it has to be true. You know what I mean? Funny enough, and I've said it to people, and I've said you have Harley Davidson that funded him with a shitload of money. But what people don't know is that Harley Davidson right now has problems with Trump because last year he raised the tariff on aluminum, which is created in Canada for and this was for Harley Davidson. So guess what? Harley was like, if you're gonna keep doing that, I gotta raise my prices, and I'm gonna have to build the shit outside the country. So people didn't do the little research with that. You know what I mean? Those are the little things to find out like how easily people can get swayed and shit. You know what I mean? To think differently. But if you don't do the research, how the fuck will you know? Another thing that I had to do research on, because this kind of hurt my heart, and I just pumped it out, is Aunt Jemima. I remember when Aunt Jemima had the wrap on her hair. I was never Mrs. Butterworth. I'm a loyalist. I don't know who Mrs. Butterworth is. You know what I'm saying? I'm Aunt Jemima for life. And then one day, I forget what grade I was in. I went to pour the syrup because I started with the pancakes a little late. Remember I told y'all?
Because I used to cheat for both of them. Huh?
What'd you do?
I used to cheat. I used to go back and forth.
Never. But you got to remember though, right? So I think I had I forget how old I was. I was really old when I had my first pancake because I went at a friend's house. So what the hell is this? I'm Haitian. My breakfast was bread and chocolate, dipping in thing, boom. I was like, damn, Aunt Jemima, like who is this woman? I was like, this is the shit. This is the bomb. She had the wrap. A few years later, she got a perm. I'm like, whoa, my baby looking right. Okay. Fast forward 2020, people have a problem with Aunt Jemima. So I did a little research. Believe that? I did a little research. So it looks like she just created the mix, made America fall in love. And I'm giving you the short of it real quick. Made everybody fall in love with it. But there was racist undertones with the first picture. Obviously, right now, if you're watching Facebook or YouTube, you can see the two different pictures and how it first came out and what it is right now in 2020. So right now, we have all corporate companies scattering. You got, because Pepsi owns it, so they're like, we're going to change it. Eskimo Pies or whatever, they're changing their logo. Everyone is changing. They're like, racial undertones, racial undertones. You know what I mean?
Can't even use the word urban no more. Can't say urban no more.
Listen. I'm a black man. I'm a black man that doesn't get offended by the word urban. I'm a black man that likes this Aunt Jemima. You know why? It's the fucking syrup that I like. You know what I mean?
Yo, but my thing was, where did that even? She was a
real.
No, she was a real person, right? I'm saying, was that just a decision by the company to just take that off, or was there actually people that were saying like
Great question.
to take this off? Because I talked to a lot of my black friends, and a lot of my black friends were like, I don't know no black people that wanted that shit gone, bro. I don't know where that shit came from. They're like,
they corporate.
My man.
Corporate, so they gotta have like some sort of diversity meeting, right? That's why they change shit like that, so they don't want to offend any particular.
But there was there is a group that's been petitioning. There's been a group that's been petitioning. You know what I mean?
All right, that's what I was asking. Because all of my people is like, yo, I don't know where that shit came from. I didn't even know there was a problem.
I truly wish that there was an app that the phones can hear and see everything. That they should say, all right, dear black people, right now, use your phone and vote. Do you give a fuck?
Right.
Last I checked, Aunt Jemima's family, they don't care.
Right. I ain't. Yeah,
so I think this is just a very reactionary move by Pepsi, which I understand because who the hell am I to tell them how to move, boo, boo, boo. But like, I don't know. I just don't want an America or a world where you have to somewhat appease everybody. That's crazy to me.
I was wondering how do you think other intellects from other countries are viewing that? Like all the issues, look, all the issues that we could focus on right now in America,
focus on fucking syrup,
inequality and stuff like that. How many intelligent people are going like this, looking at America, going, yeah, that's the thing. Take the Aunt Jemima labels off the shelf. Yep, do that. And that's what y'all need to do first. Get those right off the shelf, bro.
There you go.
Get them off the shelf. Come on.
Again, I put the word
goal
in there.
Not that I'm against it, because hey, if motherfuckers want it gone, then take it off. I'm cool with it. Whatever. But what I'm looking at how many other people are really going. Yeah. That's what y'all need to do.
We're getting some background feed for somebody. I don't know what that is, but that's why I put the word goal back in there. What are black people's singular goal? This ain't even top 50.
No, I would say the same thing.
Like,
I don't know what that. I don't know what that came from.
So I would love to know, but at the same time, y'all can wait. Or Pepsi, if you want to handle that, go ahead. I'd rather use the resources and putting some money into communities that we know. You know what I'm saying? But like this here, this is doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna just say it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, if it was the older picture, I'd be like, okay, I see what's going on. I feel like they spiced her up with a little Photoshop for what it was. You know what I mean? And then the families are okay with it. I just go back. I believe they said the families are okay with it. You know what I mean? Again,
no, they are. She made a statement this morning. They are okay with that. I can't remember what she exactly said, but I heard it. I heard it on the radio.
So if that's the case, Pepsi should be like, they're okay. They signed it. Boom. We're moving on. Like that. I like right now. If you guys can see it on your thing, I just put another picture up. It says, "All you need is a wish and a few pennies to make the world's most delicious pancake with Aunt Jemima's magic ready mix. With a box of your ready to mix in the kitchen, it's like having you there in person, Aunt Jemima." That right there.
Just add water.
That I love that shit. I used it. That's called complete. That's the complete.
Yeah, complete.
You feel
Just
me?
add water.
Just add water. But like, I get what they're saying. Like right there, I don't like that. I don't think they should market with that particular picture that I put up, because it's saying it's like having you there in person, Aunt Jemima. Wait a minute. So you want me here in your kitchen? It's a stretch, but that okay, take that off. But obviously that's just an old. Yeah, that's an old picture that I pulled just to kind of just shed a little light, make a little humor into this shit. But this new Aunt Jemima, she's okay, man. She's okay. So if there's a vote out there, if they're willing to do a vote of all minorities and we can vote, I'm gonna vote keep her. What are you gonna replace her with?
Bro, I think most people would vote to keep her. No bullshit. I haven't met one black person, right?
Yep.
That has said that they cared that shit was up there. Most black people are going like, they're saying that I know.
Yep.
Are just like, bro, I don't even care if that shit's up there. I don't even think it should be taken down. I'm like, oh, I bet. Like, not that I give a fuck. I just didn't, because I really didn't know that there was a movement to get that shit removed. That shit just came out of nowhere, bro.
I found out today.
Right.
I found it today.
And the funny thing is a lot of the black folks that I know that I talk, we all agree, like, yo, did you even know that was a thing? And motherfuckers are like, I didn't know that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know that shit neither, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we going a little too far right now, bro. What the fuck?
It's out of control.
But
and that's
again, bro, man, if the majority want it gone, then I'm cool with it.
But
I just didn't know. I feel like I don't think the majority wanted that shit gone.
I just don't think Black Lives. I don't think the movement.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think the Black Lives Matter are caring about.
I don't think they care about that.
I might be wrong.
Right.
If someone knows that I'm wrong, please send me the link. Please research, because I don't want to have to research your research. But like, I don't think they care. I don't think it's going to stop black men from being killed. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to stop police officers, the asshole police officers, and being more asshole police officers. You know,
and I don't think it's going to reduce racism, bro.
No, I don't either.
Sorry, bro. I don't think that was one of the top 50 things that we needed to do to reduce racism.
Not at all.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And I don't know if you guys seen, I shared this, I think it was last week. So my boy, one of my peoples, Dave Chappelle, he had a little town meeting, I like to call it, because it was in his backyard, basically, his world, Cleveland, Ohio. It wasn't a comedy special. It was just Dave Chappelle saying, I have shit to talk about.
Yeah.
I appreciated it simply because at the end of the day, he just kind of said it in a long but short way, like, you guys don't need me to kind of lead the way in this reform, because the streets is handling it. The streets is handling it. You don't need Dave Chappelle, the comedian, because Dave Chappelle, the comedian, has been talking about this for decades anyway on his platform, which is a comedic platform, but the right people need to now step up. And the reason I say that is because there's a little thing we're going to say my role is. And I'm going to ask each of you guys to fill the blanks. It says my role is. My role is, as a Haitian Canadian man and a black man, okay, is to help understand, help my kids understand what the fuck is going on in this crazy world. For me to get a better understanding of what's going on in this crazy world. For me to voice my opinion on our platform and other platforms that are, a mix of audio and video, because I don't believe in typing out feelings, or that's my role. So I'm going to ask you guys, in what's going on today, what do you think your role is? Jump up, whoever wants to start first, or be next.
I think my role is to make sure that people are aware of the truth. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that if something is true, people need to be aware of that. You know what I mean? I try to remain objective and research things to see what's true, what's not true, things of that nature. I think that that's all of our responsibility to do that. I think that we need to bring awareness to that, man. So I don't know. There's no denying things like racism. There's no denying things like police brutality. Yeah, we see videos of it all the time, bro. You'd be crazy to deny it. I just think that we need to bring awareness to it, and I think we need to be careful about, in my opinion, over exaggerating things at the same time. You know what I mean? I think that there's some things that can be over exaggerated, and we can become too emotional, and we overlook objective facts. We don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? So I think it's everybody's responsibility to bring awareness to things, but make sure that, it's a healthy conversation and it's factual. So that's why I'm at with it.
Yeah, bring awareness. You know what I mean? Be factual at the same time. But, I'm going to add a little twist to it. Lighten it up, some laughter behind it. But,
Absolutely. That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what we utilize this platform for. Try to make people aware to the best of our knowledge.
Like, conversation is, if we can't have honest conversation, if we lose that, bro, we lose everything, because conversation is what makes progress, bro. We can't lose honest conversation, bro. We can't lose that, dog. We have to maintain that. We have to continue to bring that to the forefront all the time and be honest with conversation, bro. And not be too emotional. Like, you have to be able to have honest conversation. It's proven to be effective, bro. It's proven to make progress. Like, and with some people, man, you just can't have that with people no more. If you can't have a conversation with somebody, imagine if the whole world can't do that.
Right.
There's no more conversation. We can't do it. We're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get anywhere, bro. We need to be able to continue to promote honest conversation and researched narratives and things like that, bro. So people aren't just gravitating toward a narrative that isn't actually factual, but they like it because it leaves them subjectively satisfied.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's not what I feel like I would be irresponsible to promote that and tell someone, yeah, go. I say, nah, man, yo, you need to research that, bro. There's things that we all don't like that are true. And just because we don't like them doesn't mean that it makes it any less true or any less of a fact. It's going to remain true whether we like certain things or not.
Right.
And we have to accept these facts for what they are, bro. And too often, in the words of, once again, I don't mean to keep quoting him, but Dr. Thomas Sowell said it. Like, people gravitate toward narratives that leave them subjectively satisfied, bro. They're not going with narratives that are researched with actual data and facts, and that's just not how a lot of us function. We don't even really operate like that, bro. We're emotional. I'm emotional. Y'all are emotional. We're all like that, dog. So we feed off of our emotions, bro. And a lot of the times that I've learned is your emotions can lie to you, bro. And when you react off of emotions or respond strictly from emotions, usually it's not going to do you any good. It would benefit you a lot more to just put those to the side, or as Cliff would always say, check your ego at the door, bro. Leave those emotions over there and just try to, you know what I'm saying? Try to really just have an honest conversation, man, and look things up to make sure you know that you're really standing on the right side of history, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you may think that this is the right side of history to be on, and then 50 years down the road, you may realize, yo, that wasn't the right side of history.
Right.
But there's always a small portion of people that were there at that moment saying, y'all are not on the right side.
Right.
And everybody will say, oh, y'all are idiots, shun them or whatever. And then come down 20, 30 years later, be like, damn, it was actually right. Why? Because those were probably the people that weren't being led by their emotions, that was actually researching, actually looking up data and removing their emotions, bro, and said, nah, I can't take this stance or that stance or whatever, man. So I always promote that shit.
Well,
that's why I say things that sometimes people get upset about.
Well, that's the difference between us and animals, right? We have the ability to communicate and sit down to kind of suppress emotions when needed, when times is required. And I think that is something as you get older and wiser and experienced via communication and experience that you've learned to master these skills. You can continue to master them shits till the day you fucking die. But I think that the ability to do that is what sets us apart from animals, and those are the people that are animals, the ones that don't have that ability. Now,
they got the animal instinct ruling over them.
And what needs to be done is we as a people need to empower them to come face to face, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to live a good life. There are some people that just want to see the world burn, as my cousin James would say. They were just born that way. It is what it is. Yeah. Those are the people that you try to figure out, isolate, get them help, or just put them wherever they need to go, right? But at the end of the day, racism is something that I'm going to call a disease, and we should be able to eradicate it by empowering people with knowledge, by empowering people with their history, so that they can just say, hey, you know what? The way I'm thinking is incorrect. This is another human being that's just trying to do the same thing that he or she or they are trying to do. And it's in line, because it's all in line. You know what I mean? Just because our hair's a little different, our style, our swag, our flow, that don't mean nothing. All that shit is just additional aesthetic on top of this thing we call human skin. So, but nah, good answers, fellas. Good shit. Good shit.
You know what else, too, man? We got to get people to really learn to be more empathetic, bro. People just lack empathy, bro.
Yeah.
People lack empathy, man. So that's I think is a major stumbling block for a lot of people to be willing to understand somebody else. How can you understand somebody if you can't even be empathetic? You don't know how to empathize, bro. That ain't something that, you know, you can just learn overnight. You got to really take your time to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, bro.
I had a conversation about empathy last night. Yeah, man.
So that's a big thing, man.
Huge.
That's why people got upset when I put that post up saying, you know, I can understand why a cop may be in fear for their safety. People just like, bro, how am I supposed to ever empathy is a part of understanding.
Correct.
Exactly.
To realize that all they did was jump on that line and basically be like, oh, you're defending a cop? Like, dog, I'm trying to understand, bro. In order to do that, I have to empathize, bro. You have to be able to do that.
You have to.
You can't fucking promote a message trying to tell people to empathize and sympathize with you, and then but say, well, but not them over there, though.
Yeah.
Not them over there. Now, empathy needs to be practiced for all of us, because it's one thing that helps people understand other people and their struggles, bro.
Agreed.
It's fucking important.
That's it.
So I just want to put that out there. So.
The last thing I want to do, because we're running kind of like late on the time, but I just want to put this out there for my Caucasian friends, or people that are Caucasian that don't necessarily have black friends.
Right.
If you don't have any real friends, and maybe I should have came up with a definition of friends and acquaintances, because some people might know black people or know some white people, but they're not necessarily their friends. Right. And I think white people right now are in a tough predicament as far as helping or being supportive of the movement. I don't know if you guys heard. There's some two. It was I forget what nationality were, but I think they were white. They were wearing afros, and they were saying Black Lives Matter, or painting their face half brown, half black. All lives matter.
Yeah, they're from like Lebanon. They were like influences across these.
Okay.
There's two of them.
So you got them, and then you have Caucasian people that are doing things like that. And I think those are people that might just want to have conversations. And funny enough, like, I've never watched, this is totally to the left, but I watch How to Get Away with Murder. I'm late to the show. I heard it's a pretty, not heard, but it's a pretty cool show. I'm on season 4 or 5 or whatever. But there was a scene where you can say that extremely affluent or rich white lady came, and she needed the help of the attorney. Attorney's black. And she's like, oh, my God, you're so beautiful. It's a pleasure. It's an honor for me to meet you. She was, like, legit just smitten by, wow, this lady's in front of me. And she went to what? Touch her hair. Annalise, who's the black lawyer, was like, whoa, don't be touching my hair. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's because, 1, it was weave, or 2, don't fucking touch a black woman's hair. Don't touch a black woman's hair. So I say that jokingly, because I actually think there are some white people that are just not familiar with a lot of black experiences, cultures, like just anything. They might just say, yeah, I know him as a friend, but don't really know our culture or what certain things mean to us, and vice versa too, because I don't want to just make it just an all like black, white thing. I think it's just a human thing. Without experience of different cultures, we're all ignorant of the other person's situation, and might not be as empathetic as we should be, because we are not familiar with their particular story or the group's particular story. So I invite, obviously you guys do that already, but I invite you, our Facebook friends and family, and people that just come in to spy and check on us or whatever, to do the same, because without doing that, we're never going to move forward. We're just going to keep repeating itself, rinse and recycle. Someone will throw a black statue up, and people will be happy, and then all this will go away. Yeah, that was my spiel. That's all I want to say.
It seems that simple, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes, bro, what you just described can be what I like to call innocent ignorance. It's not. I don't know if it's a real term. I just said it.
Let's run with it. I like that, though. I know what you mean.
I kind of use that all the time. Like, don't get so offended, bro. It's like you just said, she was literally ecstatic to see her and everything. She was just like an innocent form of ignorance. She just didn't know that would offend, you know. And it's cool. Bring it to their attention.
Right.
But you don't have to be like, you fucking racist bitch. Like,
right.
Chill, relax, dog. Like, there's a way to communicate that what she did was offensive, and it may be a form of, what do they call, microaggression or something like that.
Yeah,
she may not know that, bro. It can literally be done out of innocence. I didn't know, you know?
Right.
And then when you bring that to their attention, they can be fucking completely appalled and feel extremely guilty and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm so sorry. I didn't know mean
this
that.
a sensitive
when
matter.
You just fucking, when you jump down somebody's neck and you turn into a savage, yo.
There you go.
Like, whoa, all right, you didn't get that. That's not the way to get that point across, bro.
And that's my point. That's my point exactly. And it's that word again, communication. I think communication is the key, you know, and if we all can do that, and sometimes language is a barrier, generation is a barrier as well. If I'm learning myself, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I have my blood brothers, but sometimes when I speak to them, there's a miscommunication between us because it's 10 years. You know what I mean? So I think we're fortunate enough to actually have patience and the willingness to try to understand where the other person is coming from. If the two don't coincide, it'll never happen. That's all I got for y'all, fellas.
That's some good shit.
That was it.
I think we're ready to go back to the studio, bro.
I'm ready, man.
All right, so if we're going to do that, let's give ourselves a round of applause for tonight's podcast. I mean, want to thank you guys for listening, even though we didn't have a huge crowd. I know we were late. I got a couple new toys. Wait till you guys see it.
I was late.
Wait till you guys see some of my new gear. I'm ecstatic. I'm excited about that. And yeah. Hey, by the way, everyone, don't forget COVID is still a real shit. I know, I know people are forgetting with everything going on, but you need to make sure you
Still
wear your
real.
mask.
Yeah, it's still real.
I got
I
mine.
just want to say, I want to say rest in peace to LV, man. Um, young kid I was locked up with, man, recently was lost his life, man, on his birthday. So I just want to say rest in peace to him, man. If anybody doesn't know, that's the kid we was playing his music in the beginning of the podcast. So I just rest in
Wow. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to that man. All right, man. I don't got any music queued up, but I'm just gonna put this Get It Gang thing. Shout out to my boy Nux for hooking it up with the swag.
That shit's tough, bro. That's tough.
I mean,
Fleet. Fat Fleet.
Fat Flea. On that note, we out of here.